He earned £40,000 a week for 11 years. He bought his mom a house, his dad a car, his brother a business. He had a mansion, a watch collection, 2 Lamborghinis, and a wardrobe full of designer clothes. By 42 years old, he had nothing. Not nothing as in less than before. Nothing. He was selling his medals on eBay to cover rent. This is not the story of one footballer. This is the story of hundreds of them, and nobody in football wants to talk about it. Studies suggest that within 5 years of retirement, up to 40% of professional footballers face serious financial difficulty. 40%. Not lower league journeymen on £500 a week. Premier League players, Champions League footballers. Men who earned in a single week what most people earn in an entire year. Broke. How does that happen? How do you earn that kind of money and end up with nothing? The answer is not stupidity. It is not laziness. It is a system that creates elite footballers and sends them completely unprepared into a financial world they were never once taught to navigate. And by the time they realize it, it is already too late. Let's go through exactly how it happens, step by step, because it always happens the same way. You sign your first big contract at 22, £25,000 a week. You've never had money before in your life. You grew up in a council flat. Your parents worked every hour available to them. Money was always the thing there was never quite enough of. And now there is so much of it that the numbers stop feeling real. You buy a car, then another one. You move into a house worth £4 million. You buy a watch that costs $80,000. None of this feels unreasonable because you will always be earning this. You are 22. You will play until you are 35 at least. There is always more money coming. Always. This is the first lie. The lie every footballer tells himself in those early earning years, that the money will always come, that there is always time, that you can deal with the financial stuff later. You won't deal with it later. Later arrives faster than you think. Now let's talk about the entourage, because nobody talks about this enough. When you were broke, you had a small circle, people who knew you before the money, people who genuinely cared about you as a person. But money changes proximity. Cousins you were never close to start calling. People you barely knew at school are messaging you on Instagram. Friends of friends are appearing from nowhere. And you, because you are loyal, because you remember exactly where you came from, you look after them. You pay your mate's rent, just for now, just until he gets back on his feet. You give your cousin $50,000 to start a business. You pay for family holidays every single year. Your brother needs a car. Done. Your uncle has a problem with his mortgage. You sort it. Your mom needs a new kitchen. Of course. Individually, none of these break you. Together, over 6 or 7 years, they create a financial drain that never stops and never gets smaller. And you can never say no, because these are your people. And the last thing you want is to be the person who got money and changed. So you keep saying yes, long after you should have stopped. Now let's talk about the agents and the advisors. Your agent negotiates your contracts. He takes his percentage. That is the deal. That is standard. But agents do more than negotiate contracts. They introduce you to financial advisors, investment opportunities, business contacts, tax structures. And sometimes those introductions are genuinely helpful, and sometimes they are not, because an agent who introduces you to a financial advisor collects a referral fee, and the financial advisor who puts your money into a specific fund earns a commission on that fund, and the fund manager who holds your money takes his percentage regardless of performance. None of these people are necessarily thinking about what is best for you. They are thinking about what is best for them. And you, 24 years old, training 6 days a week, have neither the time nor the knowledge to check. So you trust them, because who else are you going to trust? This is how it starts. The investments: someone brings you an opportunity, a restaurant, a property development, a tech startup, a cryptocurrency fund. They show you the projections, numbers that look impressive on a slide deck. They tell you other current footballers are already in. They tell you this is how the smart money moves. You put in £200,000, then another $200,000 6 months later when they need more capital. The restaurant closes within 18 months. They almost always do. The property development stalls, planning permission issues, legal disputes, cost overruns. The tech startup runs out of funding in year 2. The cryptocurrency fund loses 70% of its value in 30 days. Each one of these individually is survivable. You are still earning. There is still money coming in every week, but you are spending faster than you are building anything, and you do not see it because the balance in your account still looks like a big number until it doesn't. Let's talk about the tax, because this is where it gets truly dark. Image rights, offshore structures, tax efficiency schemes. Your advisors set these up for you when you were 23. You signed documents you did not fully read or understand. They told you it was legal, standard, that everyone at your level does this. Sometimes they are right, sometimes they are not. And years later, HMRC comes knocking. A bill for hundreds of thousands of pounds in unpaid tax, interest on top, penalties on top of that. You call the financial advisor. He is no longer available. You call the agent. He says this was never his area. You are standing alone with a tax liability that was entirely avoidable if anyone around you had genuinely been working in your interest, but they weren't. And you didn't know enough to know that. You didn't know enough because nobody taught you. Nobody ever sat you down and explained it. Not the club, not the academy, not the FA. Nobody. Now let's talk about the moment nobody prepares you for. Retirement. You play your last game at 34. Injury, mostly. The body simply cannot sustain what it used to. You have had a career, a real one, a 11 years professional, 4 clubs, good wages throughout. On paper, you should be completely fine. You are not fine. The money stopped. For the first time since you were 21, there is no contract, no weekly wage landing in your account, and the money going out has not stopped. The mortgage on the £4 million house, the 3 cars on finance, the lifestyle your family has been living for a decade, the mate whose rent you are still covering, the cousin's business you are still keeping alive. All of it keeps going out. Nothing is coming in. You tell yourself you'll figure something out. You've always figured something out, but there is nothing to figure out. The money is running out, and you have 60 years of life left to fund on what is already there, which is almost nothing. The psychology of this is something nobody in football ever addresses. Football gives you structure, training at 9, match on Saturday, preseason in July, the season ends in May. Your entire adult life has been built around a rhythm, and then it ends completely. You wake up on a Tuesday morning with nowhere to be and nobody expecting anything from you. You have been the footballer your entire adult life. Without football, you genuinely don't know who you are. The identity crisis that comes with retirement is brutal and almost universal, and a person in an identity crisis reaches for the things that still make them feel like themselves. The car, the clothes, the going out, the watches, the spending. The lifestyle accelerates at exactly the moment the income has disappeared. This is the cliff edge, and most footballers don't see it until they are already falling off it. The relationship starts to break. It usually does. Financial pressure after years of complete financial comfort destroys most marriages. Your partner is used to a certain life. Your children are used to a certain life. You cannot bring yourself to tell them the reality of where things stand. You are embarrassed. You are ashamed. You are the one who is supposed to provide, so you say nothing and keep spending as if nothing has changed. Until the day you cannot. The divorce costs you more than any investment you ever made. The legal fees, the settlement, the ongoing maintenance payments. You move out of the £4 million house. You rent a flat, a normal flat, and you sit in it and think about the fact that you earned £40,000 a week for 11 years. And this is where you are. The trophies come out of the boxes, the medals, the Player of the Year awards, the match-worn shirts from famous games. You put them on eBay. The thing about a former footballer selling memorabilia is that the market knows. People can tell when a man is selling out of desperation rather than choice. The bids come in lower than you expected. You accept them anyway, because you need the money before the end of the week. The man who had everything is now selling the evidence of it, piece by piece, to strangers on the internet. The bankruptcy letter arrives on a Thursday morning. You sit at the kitchen table in the rented flat and open it. The creditors have filed. The legal process has begun. Bankruptcy doesn't feel like a legal process when you're living it. It feels like failure in document form. 11 years of professional football, a career most people would have given anything for, and it ends at a kitchen table, holding a letter, alone. So how does this get prevented? Because the answer is not simply earn more money. These men earned generational wealth and still ended up here. The answer is financial education, real, independent, mandatory financial education from the moment a young player signs his first professional contract, not from an agent who earns commission, not from an advisor with his own incentive structure, independent, transparent, with the player's interest as the only priority. The PFA offer financial guidance. Some clubs run programs. It is nowhere near enough. A 16-year-old signing his first scholarship needs to understand what a mortgage actually costs over 30 years. A 22-year-old on his first big contract needs to understand what his actual take-home is after tax, after agent fees, after image rights deductions. A 34-year-old retiring needs a financial transition plan that was built and funded 10 years earlier. None of this is complicated. None of this is beyond the capability of the clubs, the leagues, or the football associations to implement. But it doesn't happen because there is too much money to be made from keeping footballers financially illiterate. That is the uncomfortable truth at the center of all of this. Some make it back. Some footballers who hit the bottom rebuilt themselves. Coaching, media, business ventures built on hard experience and a much clearer understanding of money than they had at 22. They speak openly about it now, and that openness is the only thing that makes any real difference, because the 16-year-old sitting in an academy right now who just signed his scholarship, the one who is going to be earning serious money within 5 years, he needs to hear this story before it becomes his own. The money does not make you safe. It makes you a target for bad advisors, for people who love what you have more than they love you, for a system that has always profited from the financial ignorance of the people inside it. The footballers who survive financially are not always the ones who earned the most. They are the ones who understood early enough that the money was always temporary and built something permanent while it was still there. £40,000 a week, 11 years, over £20 million earned, gone. Not because he was stupid, not because he didn't work hard enough, because nobody ever sat him down and taught him how to keep it. And in football, nobody ever does.